Today's topic for discussion is external morphology of Selaginella sporophyte. Selaginella, it is a pteridophytic plant. Let us see the external features of Selaginella plant. Selaginella is found almost in all countries of the world. Majority of the species are found in the rainforest of tropical countries. They generally grow on the ground in humid and shady habitats. Some species are xerophytic and are found on granite rocks. The xerophytic species of Selaginella, which grow on rock, they are also described as epiphytic plants. A few species are epiphytic. Epi means upon, phyta means plant. That means the species of Selaginella that can grow on the branches of large trees. Those species are described as epiphytic. Let us see the external morphology of the Selaginella plant. The sporophyte of Selaginella is well developed. The genus is often divided into two subgenera, that is Homeophyllum and Heterophyllum. Homeophyllum, homo means similar, hetero means different. Homeophyllum means the stem is erect, having equal spirally arranged microphyllous leaves. Leaves are spirally arranged, equal in size. And heterophyllum, in case of heterophyllum species of heterophyllum type of Selaginella, the stem is prostrate with erect branches, and that is having two types of leaves. Some leaves are smaller, some leaves are large in size. There is dimorphic leaves. Stem of the Selaginella. The stem of subgenus Homeophyllum is erect and radially constructed. The branching is dichotomous, di means two, but later it becomes monopodial, zigzag. In the epiphytic plant, the stem is pendant in hanging position. Generally, the epiphytic plant, the plants which grow on large branches of large tree, mostly they are in hanging position. Hence, the stem is pendant with a number of recurved branches which are loosely interwoven. In subspecies Heterophyllum, to which a majority of species belong to, the stem is prostrate and is having sub-erect branches. The branching is lateral, but in old stem it appears to be dichotomous. This is due to vigorous growth of the lateral and its formation very near to the growing point. Let us see details about the leaves of Selaginella. The leaves are very small in size, simple, hence they are called microphyllous leaves. Very small leaves or microphyllous leaves. The shape of the leaf varies from lanceolate, lens-shaped, to ovate. Ovate leaves, shape of the leaf may be ovate or rarely linear, elongated. Okay. The single central vein is present, while the veinlets are absent in the leaf. In Homeophyllum, the leaves are alike, all are similar in size, but in Heterophyllum they are dimorphic. One leaf is larger and the other leaf is smaller. They are arranged in four longitudinal rows. The large leaf alternates with the another large leaf present on the next node, and in the same way the smaller leaf alternates with the smaller leaf present on the next node. Ultimately, the smaller leaf is opposite to the large leaf on the same node, and they alternate at the next node. That is, at a node the leaves are in pairs and the two leaves of each pair are unequal in size. One is larger and the other is smaller. The leaf bears on its upper surface near the base a leaf-like membranous outgrowth. A leaf-like membranous outgrowth which occurs at the base of the leaf, that is known as ligule. Presence of ligule is the characteristic feature of Selaginella. The ligule is present in a cup-shaped ligular pit or a socket. The cells of socket show presence of Casparian stripes. The foot of the slegule is known as glossopodium and it is a multicellular. While the apex of the ligule is one-celled. The ligule may be tongue-shaped or it may be fan-shaped or it may be the ligule may be lobed structure. It is best seen in young leaf as shown in the photograph, but when the leaf matures, it withers, release away, fell off and therefore it is not seen in mature leaf. The function of ligule is not well known. The ligule is thought to be a water secreting or absorbing organ and keeps the stem apex moist. It is perhaps true as the glossopodium shows a structure similar to water storage parenchyma. Okay, see the photograph. Let us see rhizophore. Photo is shown here to the right side. Rhizophore. The branching of the stem is dichotomous, but in mature plants it becomes monopodial as one of the two branches is better developed than the other. At the angles of the branching develop a leafless cylindrical branch which is known as rhizophore. And the rhizophore is a positively geotrophic structure originating from the angle meristem. Okay, found in the angles of dichotomous branching. Okay, on reaching the soil, the rhizopore divides to form tufts of adventitious root. A group of adventitious roots are originated from rhizophore. Rhizophore is regarded as either stem or branch or a root or neither. It is a rhizophore. Its root-like nature is provided by positive geotrophism and its anatomical nature. Okay, the strong anatomical point is that even with the polystylic stem, the rhizophore is monostelic. As in root, it looks like a root. The internal structure of the rhizophore is similar to the root. The rhizophore has exogenous origin. That means from the extrastellar region it has originated. And absence of root cap. Root cap is absent in rhizophore. Formed at the angle of dichotomous branching and dicapitate rhizophore form a leafy shoot. Okay, that proves its stem nature. That means it is a stem-like. With the above mentioned interpretation, it is best to regard it as an organ of self-originated, neither a root nor a stem, as put forth by some pteridophytologists. Okay, let us see the details of the root. The primary root is short-lived. The roots present on the adult plant, that is mature plants, are adventitious. Adventitious roots are supporting roots. They are formed directly from stem or stem axis or from the base of the rhizophore. And in Selaginella, the growth is by a single cell or group of cells which are formed at the apical meristem as reported by Puri in 1963. Okay, this is all about external morphology of Selaginella plant.